This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
Good afternoon or good evening in some places.
How you doing, Jim?
You got something on your head and your face. I don't know what it is, but
I thought I wanted to come in at a cool spot tonight since I heard you was playing golf over the weekend and you had a couple of birdies and
Eagles. I don't know what. I was possessed.
I don't know about no Eagles. I'll give you a birdie.
I had Eagles. I chipped it in. We were playing the Florida Scramble. I chipped it in from about 60 yards.
Wow. I'm impressed.
That's
when you need to have video. You do.
Video. I was wishing it because here's the interesting thing. It was over a hill, and I didn't even see it go in. My caddy's going crazy.
What?
Yeah, he's going crazy. And
you big time. You big time when you have a caddy.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a caddy.
I need to have some of this on video because I don't know if I can really believe what you're saying, but
well, you can ask. I showed you the picture. I sent you the picture, and everybody's doing that Eagles side, not the Philadelphia Eagles.
So Everson Walls saw it too. Did he get a chance to see it?
Everson Walls, he was saying, "Let me see what's going on over here." I hit a 20-foot putt. I couldn't believe it.
Wow!
But I have something that helped me. The guy I was playing with he played on the PGA Tour, and he would get me lined up correctly.
When I played in some of those pro-am tournaments, and I always had a pro golfer with me, I'm telling you, they give you some pointers, man. They really can help. They really
they know the lines. That's what's impressive. Yeah. They know the lines on the obviously on the greens and where you should hit it at, and they're right on. Yeah, I guess that's what they get paid to do. So
they read those greens like no other. I'm telling you,
unbelievable. I couldn't believe how well he read those greens. I mean, that was pretty impressive. And he got a lot of it is hand placement and where you're striking the ball at. So he taught me all those things. And I had a guy that was really good who was left-handed. So he gave me some pointers too that helped.
Oh, that's fun, golf, when you play with some experts. I tell you that. Yeah. I did that several times.
So when we play again, me and you, September 12th, watch out. Watch out.
It's September 13th.
13th, excuse me. But I'll be out there practicing on the 12th. So
yeah, Charles Haley, he
golf tournament. Yeah,
I had to get on him a little bit, so he stepped up.
Yeah, he did. He did. But hey, we're here to talk about football.
It's football.
As always.
Well, my team won. That's why I'm wearing the hat. We celebrating the win,
Yeah. But honestly,
what?
In the NFC East, the best team in the preseason games were the Eagles. Yeah. They were playing the New York Jets, but the Eagles looked the best. I mean, Hurts.
Well, we kind of predicted that the Eagles were going to be tough this year. And, and right now they got some, even they second team players are playing good. And I think that's impressive. I think the most impressive thing about preseason, you want to know if your back or role players can come in and fill some gaps in case of injuries and whatnot. But definitely the Eagles look good.
Yeah, and they didn't have Devontae Smith. He's back in practice now.
Yeah.
But they didn't even have him. And the Jets have got some issues, obviously, with Zach Wilson. He's going to be out 2 to 4 weeks, probably closer to 4 weeks because he just had surgery.
Right.
And they shaved his meniscus, which I had in my last year of playing. It could be painful. And he had a bruise on it.
Yeah.
So they're more worried about the bruise than they are the shaving of the meniscus.
Yeah, one interesting thing about Zach, they flew him out to L.A. to have that surgery.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
That's a long way. I wonder why they did that.
I thought that was kind of strange. You got all these great doctors in New York, and you got to fly your quarterback out to L.A. to have surgery. I guess maybe the guy in L.A. must be the best in the world. I don't know.
He must be, but also I'm thinking that when you talk about that, flying across country, You can imagine getting back and flying back to New York, the swelling and everything. You got to worry about all those things.
Yeah.
Is he going to rehab out there? That's the question I would ask.
Because you really want to elevate the leg and everything else, and make sure you got the ice and all the stuff that so you don't get the swelling and the infection out of it. No
question. And the technology is incredible. But I'm like you. I would have did it in New York, but who are we to say? They must have known something, or he requested.
Yeah,
they used that doctor.
Maybe it's a doctor that he liked or he had while he's in college, while he's playing. Back in college. Maybe he's on the West Coast out that way.
Yeah, on BYU.
Yeah,
possibility. But this is interesting. This is his second injury to the knee, right? The PCL he had last year.
Right. Yeah.
So.
It was really funny that they did a I guess a special on the second year quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Trevor was the first pick out of that group, and then Zach was second. I'm trying to think who was third. It might have been
wasn't it Trey Lance?
Yeah, Trey Lance. And then
Justin Fields, and then Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones, yeah. And they were saying that, Trevor definitely going to be head and shoulder over those guys.
Wow.
But that's what they were saying. I saw a special on that. But Trey Lance, they were saying that they don't know if he's going to be able to be sustainable in the next 4 to 5 years. And but they did get Mac Jones a pretty good rating. Based off of what he did last year, his rookie year. So, but it was interesting that those 5 quarterbacks, they were kind of down on Zach as well because I guess the injuries that done happened the last 2 years since he's been in the league. Yeah. And, but it was interesting that they were saying that they think Trevor Lawrence going to really be head and shoulder above those guys.
That's interesting. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Sunshine,
with the long hair.
Yeah. Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Joe Burrows revealed that he had that appendix rupture. It wasn't a normal appendix. He was saying that I guess it was he had issues that had to be resolved. But he's back in practice. Yeah. He's taking 7-on-7 and things of that nature. And that's kind of interesting that Joe Burrows now, they're going to have to be careful with him for the next couple of weeks. And he's going to be a little bit, and this is what I always talk about, is getting your timing.
Right.
In the early part of the season, the games in the early part of the season are going to be basically really preseason games for him because he won't be in a regular preseason game.
Yeah, and the majority of these guys going to be throwing in practice, I think, throughout the week. And I know the Bengals are going up to New York this week to play the Giants in this preseason game. But that's interesting that Burrow is, I think he'll get the repetition in, and they set out all their players. It seemed like when they played this last preseason game.
Yeah. But here's the thing: I didn't realize this. Jamar Chase last preseason struggled. He came on during the season, and
he had a lot of drops. I mean, the first 3 to 4 games, they were talking about how many drops he had, and then all of a sudden he poured it on.
Yeah, he did, and he showed that physical talent that he has.
Yeah.
And I think Cincinnati is going to be a tough out. The Cowboys play him the second game of the year. I'd rather play him early than late.
Are they going to play – are the Cowboys playing them here or playing them in Cincinnati?
They're playing them in Dallas.
Okay.
They're playing them in Dallas. So this should be that's to the advantage of it. And we'll talk about the Cowboys later because they got their issues.
Well, I think Dallas – people like coming to Dallas and playing. So really – if you look at Dallas, don't really have a home. Don't have no.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They really don't.
Yeah. So, yeah. I
mean, they're like seeing that super duper big screen because you can see everything on that darn thing.
You see players looking up all the time. Looking up.
You really do. You really do. Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting how Burrows progresses from this injury, because, like I said, there's a high possibility he won't play in the preseason.
No, he won't play.
And he'll be thrown on 7-7. But I realistically think that, like the situation that's in Tampa Bay with Tom Brady, I think these quarterbacks, like everybody else, need to be around these receivers, especially in this day and time when you have a shortened preseason. Prime example is, this was interesting, 2 cases. Aaron Rodgers got on his young receivers, and you heard about that. So what he did is he had all the receivers come into the quarterback room, and he told them basically what he wanted, how he wanted it, and showed them these things. And that's what you got to do.
Well, it's good that he did it early on, because once you get to the season, it's going to be fast-paced.
Yeah.
And there's going to be no time for error. And they need to be on the same page as Aaron Rodgers, because if you don't, man, it's going to blow up in their face. Because I'm telling you, I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings. Man, if Kirk Cousins can sharpen his skill set, they're going to give the Packers everything they want. I'm telling you. I'm looking at their training camp, and I saw some things. You know, I'll be looking at the things that's intangible things. The intangible things is really what I'll be looking for.
Yeah.
But I think the Vikings going to give the Packers a run for their money this year.
Do not trust Kirk Cousins. I know Jason's on here, or he's going to be on here, but it's not talent. There's something just like this week. Cousins gets COVID. And I know you don't want to hear this, but me, Kyler Murray is a lot similar to Kirk Cousins. They have an abundance of talent, but can you trust them? And that's the thing. Can you trust those two? Cousins, it's always something. It's always something. Kyler Murray, it's always something. And those guys are not the kind of guys.
Well, you know, I'm going to tell you what's going to be the difference maker.
What's the difference maker?
Kevin O'Connor, the new head coach.
You think so?
I'm seeing him putting and inserting certain things in their offense that they never had before. And I was looking at it this week, and I was saying, wow, this is gonna be the difference maker of them being unpredictable on offense and them being able to move that ball around, because you got Cooks in the backfield, you know, you got Justin Jefferson, and you got number 19 Thielen, the other wide receiver. I'm telling you, it's gonna be something that's gonna be pretty dynamic.
Interesting, you say that.
Yeah, I'm watching. I'm going and critiquing these offenses like I'm critiquing the top 2 receivers. The top 2 receivers in the last 2 years, guess who they were?
Justin Jefferson. And I would say it's not Tyreek Hill. It is the receiver from Buffalo. Both of them.
No. The two top receivers since 2017.
Oh, Cooper Kupp.
Is Devontae Adams with 57. I'm talking about touchdowns.
Oh,
57 touchdowns, and Tyreek Hill with 55 touchdowns.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean, even though Cooper Kupp is up there, but I'm talking about touchdowns. I'm talking about getting to that end zone. So that was interesting to see that stats, and I see why these guys.
It makes sense.
I see why these guys got making $20+ million a year now because of what they have done since 2017.
All they do is catch touchdowns.
Hey, you know what? It's all about touchdown and winning. If you can do those 2 things on offense, then you can make some money in the NFL.
No question. And here's another thing I was going to talk about is Russell Wilson. He knows that he's in a new system and new players. He goes out with all the receivers and runs the routes before practice for an hour. He has all the receivers there.
Wow.
And that's going to make them, I think it's going to make them better. People say,
you know what? It's good that you're saying that, because things like that really, really, I think it brings closeness, togetherness, and bring the chemistry together. And
that's what I think.
That's what will add the momentum going into the season.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that is because what we did as a team, and I'm sure the Giants did it too when they were successful.
Yep.
Is especially with the younger players, you take them out there and talk about what you see.
Yeah.
And understand how you react to things. And that's what was taught to me is how it was saw. Randy White was great at letting me see what he saw,
right,
and how to react to it.
Right.
And that was good. And then, Ed Too Tall Jones was obviously a defensive end. So he saw things and he would say, this is what I'm seeing. This is how to react to it, because you're going to get the same thing. And
right.
Russell Wilson is telling those receivers, okay, in this coverage, this is what I'm thinking. This is how you should react to it. Right. And that shows you also the signs of a leader.
Right.
Instead of saying criticizing these young players, he's taking them by the side and teaching them. And that shows you a leader.
Well, one of the things that we did in New York, we had all 5 receivers played, and we did something different. We all had a role, and everybody played that role. And, my role was to run deep, and my role was to go in and block, my role to go back and crack blocks and things like that, right? But they had an article that came out in the New York Post. They said Parcells' fabulous 5 receivers, and each one of us had a certain type of accolades that they brought to the table, and it was really unique, because now when you said that Russell Wilson did that with his receiver, that brought back memories, because once you could see the skill set of all the receivers and what they can do best, then that's when your offense can be dynamic and be unpredictable, because now you don't know how the defense can line up and say, well, we can do this and run this. But if you got your receivers on the same page and everybody doing what they can do best, I mean, that's give you more power, more energy.
No question. No, I agree with you 100%, because you got to find out what is your role on the team. Some people's roles are different. I mean, the Tyreek Hills of the world, and you talked about it, and Devontae Adams, but you got to have some other people who play different roles.
Yeah.
And they're going to get their opportunities. They got to take advantage of it, obviously, as a receiver. But that's every position. A defensive lineman, offensive lineman, they got to know what they do and how they get it done, because everybody has different skill sets.
Right.
In each position. Running backs, wide receivers, offensive and defensive linemen, linebackers, safeties, and corners. You got to find out what you're doing and what your disadvantage is, and how to disguise them or cover them up.
Right, exactly. Well, I was on an NFLPA call today, and we was talking about a couple of things, but another thing that was brought up was Deshaun Watson. And,
yes.
And he's in the news still today. They're still trying to figure out with him, what they're going to do, with the 6-game suspension. Will it be a year suspension? But definitely, I'm thinking 6 games or less would probably be what he gets.
That's what I would think. I'd be disappointed if he got a year.
Yeah.
Because and I'm not saying that anything that's been said about him is wrong or right, but he's still in 2 jurisdictions. They would not put him in front of a grand jury. There is something we don't know, and there's a reason why. So you're just going basically on the hearsay and saying, I know he paid the women off and everything, but to me, a year now, 6 games, and they're still trying to get a settlement. And then the really thing is the commissioner came out and basically said that his suspension wasn't long enough. They're going to use that in court.
Yeah.
No, I can't believe he said that. That's idiotic.
Yeah, he should. I think I hate he said that, because he already said that all last year, and then going into his second year.
Yeah, and he didn't play well in the first Cleveland preseason game. Played terrible.
He played terrible. Yeah, I think he might have had 5 yards or 7 yards or something.
Yeah,
like that.
And they're saying now that Jacoby Brissett is definitely starting the first game.
Yeah, and they need to prepare for that.
Yeah. I think 6 games is a lot of games in the NFL, and I agree with you. It should be around 6 games. Well, there's things that we don't know about it. You there, Byron? Uh-oh. You still there? You have no voice. You mute. Got to unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah, this is what happens when I can't get my computer on and my dang phone gets to ring.
We got to work on that computer. Oh, shoot. Your grandson is messing with you. Byron is having problems right now. He's having technical difficulties. So I get to talk about anything I want. And hopefully we get him back. You back? You got to take it off of mute. I'm going to give you a chance. There you go. You sure you can stay?
You know what happened?
What?
My grandboys are calling me.
I told you.
Lincoln birthday. He's gonna be 7 this week. They having a big blowout time about calling Paw.
I told you. The grandbaby's getting you. I knew it. But there's things. Here's an interesting thing. Alvin Kamara, there's no change in his status. You remember this offseason, he was at the Pro Bowl and he got in a situation in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And that still hasn't been brought to I just don't understand how things go anymore and why is it taking so long to resolve issues.
Yeah, because I think the season maybe almost at the beginning of the week of the first start of the season, he might have to go out to Vegas to court.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question, and you could probably have your opinion on it. Do you feel that having a team in Vegas has been detrimental to the NFL as far as discipline?
I somewhat think so because the excitement that people having out there, and some people are undisciplined once they go out there. You know, you have the Pro Bowl out there, and then they talk about having a Super Bowl out there pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So it really brings a lot of wildness to the party, to the events, and so players tend to not be ready for some of the excitement that they can get into out there.
And then you have the Raiders have always had that outlaw image.
Right.
And now you got them out there. But it's interesting. I know we had the incident with the receiver, Henry Ruggs, last year. But for the most part, you don't hear a lot about the Raiders getting issues out there, having issues.
I think they got some. One of their practice facilities that I've been to out there was kind of off a little bit from the stadium.
I see.
And well secure, and it's well. You got to have your car to get into the parking lot and things like that. So those are the type of things that they in a secure space and facility out there, which is really nice. I thought it was really nice. So. Mm-hmm. I was out there last year. I had a young man that I was mentoring, named Pylon, and he's a defensive lineman, and I really like that facility and that training site that they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's something that I noticed about it. It seems like players from other teams have more issues within Vegas than them, and former players too, because we've had Marshawn Lynch, a former player, and he had issues out there in Vegas. So Mike Tyson live out there, and a lot of athletes retired there. Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, Floyd Mayweather. Yep.
Floyd Mayweather, and then they do live out there in the Vegas area. So So you're right. It's I mean, anytime you go to a place like that, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Because you're a target. And that's what, like you said, when you're mentoring young players, you got to let them know just because you're such and such, that makes you even a bigger target.
Exactly. Yep.
So that's things they have to realize. Some things are happening, some injuries that we've talked about, but now McCole Hartman, he was supposed to take some of Tariq Hill's obviously plays, and he got hurt. He had a groin injury, and he's going to have surgery on it. Andy Reid said it's not serious.
Yeah.
But that's alarming for them. But they also said Juju Smith is having a good camp. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, I saw Juju Smith wearing the number 9, and he looked different, looked slimmer.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But I still think as long as you got a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you always got a chance. I'm hoping, and Dan Marino only got to 1 Super Bowl and didn't win it. But I'm hoping Mahomes doesn't go there. He wins early in his career and never gets to the big game again. I hope he goes and gets an opportunity to play another big game and win it.
I think you will. I think it's always depend on the strength of the schedule too. So
yeah,
I think they might. But AFC West is a little bit tougher too this year.
Yeah, it is. Any team can win that.
Yeah,
any team can win the AFC West right now.
Exactly.
The Broncos, obviously the Raiders, obviously Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Cowboys are practicing with the Chargers right now.
I like the Chargers. I
know you do.
When you see what they've done on the defensive side of the ball, and Justin Herbert, man, he the only player ever in the history of NFL that have thrown 30 touchdowns his first 2 seasons in the league. So they definitely got the roster, and they nice little running back, and so they really can set it on fire.
Yeah. If they they're going to have to be consistent because they should have been in the playoffs last year. All they had to do was tie, and they're in the playoffs. And
then they lost that last game.
Yeah, against the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders.
Yep.
So speaking of that, we can go on to the Giants. Interesting. They're giving Tyrod Taylor more reps for the New York Giants.
Yeah, they were talking about that.
Huh?
They was talking about that. They were talking about that. Now you got Daniel Jones, and you got Tyrod Taylor, and now you're giving Tyrod Taylor some reps, and that might do something to the confidence for Daniel Jones.
And that's the question I was asking you. Do you think that's the right thing to do?
I don't think so. Not this early in the season, in preseason time. But I would say, you got to go ahead and give him 100% confidence that, hey, you are a guy.
Yeah.
We're gonna this is your season to make or break, but this might be your last chance though.
Yeah. Now here's the interesting thing about the Giants is that speaking on the Giants, they're saying that Saquon Barkley's having a heck of a camp.
Oh man, he looked good. I mean, he got his confidence up. I mean, he's running like he's never been hurt before. So that's one of the most positive things that's happening in camp. But we still got some receivers injuries and dropping balls, and so they still kind of in that twilight zone to where we got to address some of those issues.
Yeah, because that's it. And you haven't heard anything about the tackle you took from Alabama or Thibodeau from Oregon, the defensive lineman.
Yeah,
it's kind of quiet on those two, which is kind of.
Well, I think it's time for them to probably get some reps in this week and next week just to see if they really ready to go.
Yeah, because that's interesting. You haven't heard a lot about those players.
Right.
And you hear obviously about Daniel Jones, you hear about the wide receivers.
Right.
And I thought that was kind of because we've expressed this before, they're going to have to be pretty good on the defensive line and the offensive line to have a chance. And they brought in all those free agents on the offensive line.
Exactly. Yeah. And the offensive line don't look like they any improvement whatsoever. They still look like they making some errors on their blocking techniques, missing assignments and things like that.
Yeah, and that's not good. But the good thing is the Cowboys and the Washington, to me, didn't look very good.
Yeah.
Commanders.
Yeah. The only somebody that's looking pretty good in this early in
Philadelphia.
The Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles look good, yeah. But to their defense, to all these teams, is that this was only the first preseason game. A lot of these teams didn't play their starters.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I got my hat on. I don't know if I have my hat on too much more this year because, everybody going to start playing some better players. I mean,
they're going to have.
I mean, the Cowboys didn't play nobody.
No, they didn't, but that's not an excuse. And here's the reason I say that. Jalen Hurts, I think he played a series and a half. Yeah. And he looked good in that series and a half. The Cowboys had a lot of young receivers and a lot of young players play, but they didn't look good. They were penalized, I think, 14 times.
That's what they did last year. They too many points.
And it's interesting today when they were practicing against the Chargers, CeeDee Lamb, one of your favorite players, I've had issues with him, was out with a foot injury. They say it's not serious, but he was out. Tyron Smith out with a sore ankle. So it's a lot of the same things. And here's my little bit of my issues with it. They haven't got into a game yet. They've been practicing, and they're already hurt.
Yeah.
How are they going to withstand the punishment of playing their season?
Especially Tyrod Smith. I think he just don't like to practice.
You think so?
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Mm-hmm. And that's a possibility.
But what I found out this past week, from looking at the Cowboys, they don't have too many good backup receivers. I'm not impressed.
But and just like you said, the Tober kid, he missed the first down on the fourth down. Yeah. He did drop that pass. Yeah. He came back and made a third down later on.
Right.
But I just remember what we just talked about, Jamar Chase, and how he struggled in training camp in preseason and then came along as the season. You would hope that happens with Tober. Noah Brown, even though he's having a good training camp, didn't show up in the preseason game. Some of these guys have got to show up, especially with depth.
I think the biggest concern that I would have for his young receivers is confidence. And if you drop, I think Jamar Chase, that's what happened last year. He started off dropping some balls and he kind of got over that. And somebody must have came up and said, hey, look, this is you're going to be on the team. Just play comfortably, play like you played at LSU, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's what happened to him. It's all about confidence. It's the confidence factor. And then if you're a wide receiver in the National Football League, you got to be cocky, you got to be aggressive, and you got to be assured of yourself. And I think just seeing some of these young players, they second guessing themselves, worried about messing up on the routes and things like that. You cannot think about that in the National Football League.
What's interesting, Jamar Chase's coach, I coached with him at the University of Colorado. His name is Troy Walters. Troy Walters was an undersized. His father was a NFL coach, but he was on the defensive side. And Troy played at Stanford, and he was a Biletnikoff finalist.
Right.
And he was undersized, but he would go out there in full pads and show the players what he wanted done. And I'm sure he did that with Jamar Chase. Troy's a tremendous football coach and a tremendous player he was.
Yeah.
For his size. So that's what was good for him. Right. Now the question that has to be asked is the Cowboys doing that with their run. We talked about Russell Wilson. We talked about Aaron Rodgers. Is Dak Prescott taking those young receivers to the side now and teaching them what he likes and what he dislikes?
And then, one of the things I think would be good if even if Dak didn't, we know he wasn't going to play the first game. When those receivers come off the field, just have a conversation with them and just say, "What did you see on this?" And then just either ask the receiver.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, little stuff like that really, really matters. And I think if you're not doing that, you're not assuring yourself of having a good quarterback, a good receiver core of guys, and you can rely on and trust them.
Yeah. Do you go out, in your opinion? Mm-hmm. Do you go out and get another receiver if you're the Cowboys?
I would have to. I would, just to be safety. You got to have 5 good receivers on your roster, and if something happened out there, you got somebody that can go right in and feel like
you don't get Antonio Brown, do you?
No.
Odell Beckham?
I would.
You would get Odell Beckham?
Yes.
Is he 100% recovered?
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And who else is out there that could help you?
Well, there's not too many. Not right now. You definitely. I think Odell Beckham is the guy that I would definitely be trying to get. Mm-hmm. If I was looking for a receiver.
Mm-hmm. But he's gonna want to go to a team that is probably a little closer to winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl.
So you saying the Cowboys ain't that type of team?
The Cowboys, unless they get over their penalty situation, I mean, some of those penalties were ridiculous.
Another thing that I'm concerned with the Cowboys is the backup players.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Are they going to be good enough?
They were making the penalties because they were the ones playing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is there. And that's got to be a concern to them. And what I think is happening, in my opinion, is they're not emphasized. They have referees there, but are they emphasizing penalties? Because I saw some things that concern me, the grabbing, the hold, and you're one play away from playing.
Yeah, and what I liked about this week that I saw at halftime with Mike McCarthy, he was pissed off. He didn't like their style of play. He went into the locker room. He was hot, and I think he got to show that more now than ever before. It's all about trying to make sure that you're not making stupid decisions out there on the football field.
Yeah, I coached with a coach that said this quote. He said, either you're allowing it or you're teaching it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true. You can't allow these things because it becomes a habit.
Right.
It becomes very habit forming. If you let them get away with it in practice, I'll never forget this about Jimmy Johnson. Mm-hmm. I was rushing the quarterback, and I beat the guy clean, and I slowed up. And he got on me about that. He told me, even if I beat the guy, to run past the quarterback. Do not hit the quarterback, but make sure you run it right past him. And he was right. Either you're allowing it or you're teaching it. So they got to be either allowing the penalties or teaching. The rookie, Tyler Smith, he did the same things that he did in college with the holding. He got holding penalties. And they had a chance on those runs.
Yeah, there's a carryover. I mean, you practice, you play the way you practice.
Yeah, you do. You really do. You really do. And that's the thing they're going to have to get over. And they're going to have to – they play the Chargers in their game this week, and then they come back to Dallas. But they're going to have to – they don't have a lot of time. They only got, one more preseason game after this one? Yeah. It's only 3 preseason games. And with some young players –
I was going to say, I read an interesting statement. The Cowboys just signed a 3-year deal with the training camp to stay out there in Southern California. And the hottest day was 75 degrees.
I don't know if that affects you. I think that helps you.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because you know how hot it's been here in Texas. We've had 47 days of 100 degrees.
Right.
And you're always trying to hydrate.
Right.
I know we play in this, and it was kind of interesting. And this is a little bit off, but we practiced in Austin, and at that time, Austin was cooler than Dallas.
Right.
It was still hot, but it was nothing like Dallas. Now Austin is the same heat as Dallas because of the buildup of population.
Right.
So those things, I don't know if it's a bad thing to go to California.
I think it's a good thing to go to California, really do, because it really saves you. It's just save the energy of your players.
Yeah, and then also what they have is what we didn't have is they have an indoor facility they can always go into.
Yeah.
So they got that indoor facility, and they can practice there. I don't know. Do Giants have an indoor facility?
Not when I was up there. No, they got one now. But
yeah, and none of us had it. Now Buffalo did.
We was in Pleasantville, New York. We was upstate New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when I was with the Bills, they obviously because of the weather, they did have an indoor facility.
Okay.
But it wasn't 100 yards.
Yeah, it was 60 yards probably.
Yeah.
Most typical fields back in the day was 60 yards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it was good because there was obviously because of the weather. Sometimes you couldn't practice outside, not because of the heat. It was because of the cold.
Yeah.
So those things. But, it's gonna be interesting.
Hey, don't be texting me no. Don't be texting me no. No, you want a hat like this? You trying to get a hat like this?
Who's that?
You.
No, I wouldn't text you that. Don't be lying to people. They know. They know. Actually, I want it so I can burn it.
Hey, I tell you what, when we go on the golf course, I'm gonna wear this hat and see if I can get you to throw up on it or something like that.
I'm gonna put it on the tee. I'm gonna put that hat on the tee and take a swing at it. Well, why should I? Shoot. I ran touchdowns. I got sacks against the Giants.
I forgot you got a couple of touchdowns.
Got a couple of touchdowns. Got a lot of sacks against them. So I
might
put that up as a monument.
It's kind of like when you play your home team, you have your good games. You know.
That's true because that happened to you against the Cowboys.
I used to burn them up a little bit.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
But yeah, man, it was. But you know, this it's been interesting this preseason, seeing how these teams are shaping up. I'm really been making my notes and critiquing some of these teams because it's gonna be an interesting season. And NFC is the weaker side of
it's wide open.
Yeah.
And, speaking of NFC, Matthew Stafford says basically that he can do everything functionally. He has tendonitis in his elbow, but he can do everything functionally. I don't know who the best team is, honestly.
Well, when you say Matthew Stafford, guess what I found out this week?
What did you find out?
He got 4 deals after winning the Super Bowl. He
did?
He got multiple deals, man, and you know he got an AT&T deal and got a couple other deals, but that just goes to show you, man, when you go from being in the losing house to a winning house, things change dramatically.
Shoot, I'm still getting deals from I don't even remember when the Cowboys. I got CTE, so I don't remember the Cowboys.
Was it 94, 93?
I know, 92, 93, and 95. But the Cowboys, you still get deals on it because people remember those things. And Stafford, they remember. And here's the interesting thing. The hard thing about being in L.A. is the Aaron Donalds, like you said, the Matthew Staffords. And certain people are going to get the deals, but not everybody's going to get those deals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dallas is totally different.
Dallas got some deals. I heard Trayvon Diggs was going to get a deal with a company. And, he had 11 interceptions last year. But, hats off to him. Congratulations on him getting some deals, in the offseason. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Did you, off the subject a little bit, did you hear about that player in Nebraska? I can't remember what his last name was, but he got an air conditioning deal. It was something to do with cooling or cooler.
Yeah. Maybe his name go with the click of the air conditioner. Who knows?
Maybe. But I thought that was. But sometimes you do get deals because of your name and stuff or your nicknames. That's one thing I always tell my players when I coach is that this basically the players today don't have nicknames like we did. Yeah. They were everybody in the locker room had a nickname.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I missed that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Speedy Gonzalez. We had Super Glue. We had all kind of names.
All kind of names, but now you don't have those.
Yeah.
And to me, that takes a little bit away from the flavor because you get the Billy White Shoes Johnson, Lester the Molester, because of Lester Hayes.
He robbed you from them catching that ball.
Yep. And that's the things you miss.
Tyrese Hill got a nickname.
What is it?
It's Soul Runner. He got a clothing line called Soul Runner. And
wow.
It was interesting. He started that name in college,
in
high school and college, and it carried over.
Yeah. Christian Okoye, the Nigerian Nightmare.
The Nigerian Nightmare.
That big joker was the Nigerian Nightmare.
Yeah. He was.
The Bus, Jerome Bettis. You
The
knew
Bus.
guys by their nickname, the Juice, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, the Juice.
Back then, you knew TD, Tony Dorsett.
TD, baby. University of Pittsburgh, man.
That's right. So those things I kind of thought was fun to have because you play Icky Woods.
What about the Fridge? The
Fridge, William Perry. You know these names. The Colonel, Richard Dent. A lot of people don't know that. They call him the Colonel.
Yeah.
And then what was there? What was my nickname? Father Time, because there was no rhythm to my time. There's my man Jason.
Jason, what's up, man? We've been talking about the
Jason?
Vikings, man. What's up, Vikings? Hey, I got something for Jason.
Uh-oh. Jason, here he comes. Jason was at the practice.
Can you see that, Jay?
Ooh.
The Vikings.
Jason gonna want those. He gonna want me to bring
the playoffs. They might make the playoffs. The Vikings.
Jason was at there. He was up in Minnesota last week.
So, Jason, I'm really impressed with Kevin O'Connor, the new head coach with the Vikings. I've been watching him.
Jason, you still got Kirk Cousins. He's going to get COVID at least 3 more times.
So he locked in home? He can't get out?
Oh, shoot. But you do got Thielen. But are they good enough defensively? That's the question.
That's going to be a key. Defense and special teams is there.
Yeah.
It's going to be the question mark.
And you're right. There is no clear court. There he is, the coach killer. That's Cousins. But it's going to be interesting because obviously Minnesota does have a chance, and the new receivers and Aaron Rodgers. But my money says you don't bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I like that too, Jason. He is bringing new energy to the team, and that's exciting. And that's what they need. They need a little shot in the arm, and a new chapter. That's what's happening with the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah. And anytime you got guys like Justin Jefferson, you got a chance.
You do.
But like I said, it remains to be seen what's going to happen defensively. Will they hold up? Speaking about that division, the Detroit Lions have been on Hard Knocks.
They're going to be on Hard Knocks, yep.
And they have they've been on it. And they have a guy named Malcolm Rodriguez.
Okay.
And he was a lower draft pick, and he's starting for him. He's been a Hard Knocks star. And he's got some starting with first teams in joint practice. So he's a linebacker. And that's the thing. And
but you know what, though? When you get on Hard Knocks, you don't never make it to the big show.
Sometimes you're right, though, but I think this guy's got a chance. Okay. I think he's got a chance.
Yeah, we'll see.
But the one thing about Dan Quinn, I noticed, I watched a little of Detroit, they got to be careful with burning themselves out.
Yeah.
Because they want to be good so bad that they can't do it. The Eagles burnt themselves out, huh? You got to be careful about that. You got to pace yourself.
I think the Eagles got some depth. They got a
little
depth.
Do.
They got a little depth.
Do. Yeah. And you always got to remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Marathon. It's a long journey. It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a long journey. 17 games. Imagine when we did 16 games, you put that extra game in there. It is a journey.
It is. And
the Eagles did Hard Knocks in 2017. Okay.
And I'll tell you another thing. When a player get COVID, that's another thing you have to think about this year.
That's right, because Kyler Murray's not going to play this week again.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, and I don't know if Kirk Cousins is going to play.
Yeah.
And the Eagles were in the Hard Knocks before they won the Super Bowl. So some teams, I don't think Detroit's going to worry about winning the Super Bowl this year.
Not in that division with Green Bay.
No. I think they'll be better, but there. It's like I said, it's a crapshoot in the NFL. NFC right now.
I think Detroit and Chicago going to switch spots in that.
You think so?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
You don't like Justin Fields?
I like him, but he ain't got no weapons.
Yeah, his receivers, top receiver.
Well, the running back Montgomery's good, but other than that,
yeah, he got an injury with the top receiver they just brought in.
Yeah.
So that's going to be tough.
So you guys want to make your preseason Super Bowl pick yet? I ain't gonna make mine yet. I'm
Jason, we got to wait till the week before the season to make our picks. We got to see these preseason games.
Jason trying to make our picks. That's what he's trying to do.
That's what it is. He's gonna go to Vegas next.
Yeah, he's gonna try to go out to Vegas.
Jason, why are you gonna steal our picks and then blame it on us if you don't win?
If I tell you the Giants, you better go out there and bet them.
Somebody's gonna shock the league. Who knows which team it's gonna be? Cincinnati. Nobody anticipated Cincinnati being in the Super Bowl.
Well, the Super Bowl gonna be in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes.
So I'm picking the Cardinals.
You're picking the Cardinals?
I'm just joking. I don't know yet. I really don't.
Yeah, let me look at it. Let me look at a couple more preseason games to give me a good one. I do like the Titans. I like Tennessee, and I know that they have the same issue with the quarterback as Minnesota, and Minnesota might have more talent than
I'm telling you now. I like the Broncos and I like the Chargers.
Wow, interesting.
I've been looking.
So you think you like the Broncos and the Chargers over the Chiefs?
Right now,
over the Chiefs.
Right now, I do.
Wow. Jason.
Well, the Broncos got
in that Minnesota Vikings.
Both of those teams got good defense. Both of those teams are solid.
Yes, they did. What about Oakland? Or not Oakland, Las Vegas?
Well, I think Las Vegas is going to be exciting to watch, but I don't think they're going to be able to go to the next level once they hit.
Boy, they got some talent on that offense, though.
Yeah, but they ain't got that defense. They ain't got that defense like the Chargers and the Broncos. I'm telling you, and I just think they do have a Chandler Jones and those guys went out there, so they defense might be pretty good. Be better. It'll be better.
And Jason asked, "What's going on with Tom Brady?" From an inside report, I heard this is just what I heard. He's close to Social Security age, and he had to sign up for Medicare. He's close to it, so.
Well, when you just turn 45, you just you don't have to prove nothing. You just wait until the season starts. I just think
that's the question I'm going to ask you. Do you think in the first game that he's really going to be ready? I know he's Tom Brady. He's the GOAT. He's
going to be ready because his style of play and the things that he going to call the play calling, he going to pick the Cowboys apart the first game.
But he's not coming back until the week before the first game.
That's good. He'll be all right.
That was scared of me. I'm serious.
Tom Brady never get out of shape.
I'm not saying out of shape. It's just that he is 45.
Yeah.
And he needs the timing and the conditioning of training camp. And I don't mean you kill him, but he does because he is 45. And how much more can his body take?
But he got veteran wide receivers as well.
That is true.
They just signed Julio Jones. I think, Mike Evans and And hey, I think they're gonna surprise. They're gonna be
Tom
hard.
Brady has never lost to the Cowboys, but I'm calling it right now. This will be the first time he lost to the Cowboys because that heat gonna get him in Texas. That Texas heat, he think he out in Tampa.
Well, y'all not gonna put the air conditioner on in there?
No, we're gonna turn it up. Turn the heat up. We're gonna turn it up. It's gonna be about 150 in there.
Man, y'all know y'all wrong for that.
I know. Then you have to go away. Wow.
Who had to go meet his wife boyfriend? What's going on?
Tom Brady's had to meet his Giselle's new boyfriend.
Man, Tom Brady gonna blow the Cowboys up.
I'm calling it right now. Shocker.
38-35.
You think so? You know the Cowboys almost beat them last year.
They should have beat them last year.
Yeah. Cowboys going to shock them. This will be the first time they've ever beaten Tom Brady. It's either going to be a blowout by Tampa, but if you watch Tampa,
Cowboys going down. I'm saying the Cowboys going down too. That's what I'm saying.
If you watch Tampa against Miami this week in the preseason game, they had some issues blocking people. They had some issues.
Yeah. That's
something to think about.
Yeah.
And that's something.
You know what I'm excited about? This is gonna be some unpredictable games played this year.
Yes, there's gonna be teams that we didn't even mention.
Right.
So
yeah.
So that's good. We don't have that much time left. We only got about 3 minutes left. But let's talk about any issues that we're seeing now in the preseason. I think injuries are going to play a big part of who's going to be successful and who's not. I don't know how in this day and time you keep your frontline players healthy because they have to get in some preseason time.
You got to get them in the preseason, get them ready, physical, get their mind ready, get the timing down. Those are the things that you got to have, and you only get that by getting out and getting some reps.
Yeah, and then your young players, like you said, you got to develop that depth.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm not seeing. That's because they don't get enough. Somebody suggested last week that you go back to where you can bring the rookies in earlier, bring them in a week or two, and I like that suggestion.
Yeah,
because the rookies need more time, obviously.
They do. You got it's the speed of the game. They got to get used to the speed.
Yeah.
I tell you another thing too. We used to hit a little bit more in practice than these guys are hitting now. They don't.
No question, and they don't wear pads that much. They only can wear pads many times a week.
And you better put on your guardian helmet so you won't get
question. So you don't get a headache. No question. You don't want to get a headache.
Yeah,
and I understand that. That's not a big deal.
Well, that's understanding. The concussion protocol is very important, and I can see that being in place.
Yeah. Well, we're down to a minute, and I just want to tell you that is an ugly hat, and you need to take it off. Maybe you're disguising, you're trying to hide yourself with those glasses on, so nobody knows who's wearing that hat.
There are always going to be some haters in the place.
Yeah. Without haters, you wouldn't
see
have
what's going on
because they're always worried.
You see what's going on in Dallas. I got a New York Giant hat on in Dallas because we're going to run the show.
You're in Arlington.
We're running the show. I'm where the stadium is. I'm right down the street from Jerry Jones' big old AT&T Stadium, and I'm going to wear my Giant hat in there and tell everybody that we're going to kick some butt when we come to Texas.
All right. Remember that. Everybody out there remembers it. Do y'all play Minnesota this year?
Yeah, we'll probably play Minnesota.
Or should I say, hey, but we're at the end of the show, but it was great, and we'll see each other. We'll see each other next week. Same time, same place. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
We'll see you guys.